Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Dorsey, for being here. I'll just say that, Twitter is, in addition to everything else, it's a news source. I mean, it's how I learned of the death of Osama bin Laden many, many years ago when SEAL Team 6 provided that information, and it happened in real time late Sunday night. The news shows are all over, and Twitter provided the information. This morning, sitting in conference, not able to get to a television, but one of my local television stations was attacked, and Twitter provided the real-time information and updates, so it's extremely useful, and for that as a tool, I thank you. Sometimes, though, Meghan McCain's husband complained a lot on Twitter over the weekend because of a doctored image of Meghan McCain that was put up on Twitter, and then it seemed like it took forever for that to come down. Is there not some way that people can, I understand their algorithms, I understand that you have to have checks and balances, but really it shouldn't take hours for something that's that egregious to be addressed.
Absolutely, and that was unacceptable. And we don't want to use our scale as an excuse here. We do need to prioritize. We need to do two things. Number one, we can't place the burden on the victims. And that means we need to build technology so that we are not waiting for reports. We're actively looking for instances. While we do have reports and while we are making those changes in building that technology, we need to do a better job at prioritizing, especially any sort of violent or threatening information. In this particular case, this was an image, and we just didn't apply the image filter to recognize what was going on in real time. So we did take way too many hours to act, and we are using that as a lesson in order to help improve our systems.
And I'm sure you have, but just for the record, have you apologized to the McCain family?
I haven't personally, but I will.
I think you just did. But along the same lines, but maybe a little bit different, I mean, the chairman referenced several members of Congress, excuse me, who had been affected by what was described as shadow banning. So does someone have to report? Is it only fixed if someone complains about it? And if no one complained, would it have been fixed? So with Mr. Jordan, Mr. Meadows, Mr. Getz, and their accounts being diminished, is it only because they complained that got fixed?
It's a completely fair point, and we are regularly looking at the outcomes of our algorithms. It wasn't just the voices of members of Congress. We saw, as we rolled this system out, a general conversation about it. And sometimes we need to roll these out and see what happens, because we're not going to be able to test every single outcome in the right way. So we did get a lot of feedback and a lot of conversation about it, and that is what prompted more digging and an understanding of what we were actually doing and whether it was the right approach.
And as a committee, can we expect any sort of follow-up as to your own internal investigation, this digging that you described? Is that something that you can share with us as you get more information?
We would love to. I mean, we want to put a premium on transparency and also how we can give you information that is clearly accountable to changes. That is why we're putting the majority of our focus on this particular topic into our transparency report that we would love to release. It is going to require a bunch of work and some time to do that, but we would love to share it.
And we appreciate your attention to that, Mr. Chairman. I'll yield back. Thank you.
Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Doyle, for